Before we begin with our topic for today, it's important to note that this video is just my own opinion. It is in no way official, so don't feel attacked if you disagree, and you're free to have your own opinion. With that out of the way, let's get started. You read the video title and saw the thumbnail, and I wrote the script, so we both know what this video is about. The Miranda class existing in the time of the original Star Trek, the 2260s or mid-23rd century if you prefer. While we know nothing in canon about when the Miranda class entered service, aside from that it was sometime before the events of Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan, there exists a serious amount of fan art depicting the Miranda in a TOS original configuration. This assumes that the Miranda followed in the footsteps of the larger Constitution, being introduced in the 2250s and serving during the period depicted in the original series and later being refit in the 2270s with new technology, receiving a new and improved look at the same time as well. You are seeing some of this fan art right now, in fact. Now, as I said, this depiction of the ship is in no way canon, even though some of the people associated with the various Star Trek shows since the class's introduction in Wrath of Khan support the idea of the Miranda being a design of the 2250s and 60s. Despite this, though, I do not think that the Miranda class as a TOS-era ship fits very well, and that it also kind of messes with the believability of the world to an extent as well, as making it basically makes Starfleet seem much more boring and less varied. Now, there are plenty of reasons why I think this is the case, but the major reason I'm going to focus on is that believability of the world and also the variety of Starfleet, as these are really the only major issues with the class existing in the period. I mean, the original series-era Miranda looks nice and fits in aesthetically with the Connie in her original configuration. So let's look at the second issue, the variety of Starfleet first, because I like to be different and unexpected in a puzzling and nonsensical way. I enjoy a Starfleet which operates a broad assortment of ship classes and types at any given time. If you have watched many videos on my channel, then you know that I have tried to justify the Miranda and other classes with a huge representation in Starfleet in a number of ways, which leave the path open for many other classes to exist alongside them. This is different from what a casual watching of the shows may imply, which feature the Miranda, Excelsior, and Oberth class ships in huge varieties of scenes throughout multiple series. That these ships form the overwhelming majority of Starfleet in the period from roughly the end of the movie era until well into the next generation. And if we accept that the Miranda first entered service in the middle of the 23rd century rather than several decades later as the ship's appearance in Wrath of Khan may imply, this issue gets worse. The Miranda suddenly becomes a ship that has been in service for well over a century, very likely muscling out many other potential classes that might have seen service and making it to where Starfleet has fewer classes, and I like more classes. The more classes of ship, the more videos I can do. It basically just defeats the purpose of making headcanon ships for other roles if there always existed the Miranda class in service at all points of a roughly 150-year period. Why would Starfleet have another light cruiser class in the 2260s if there was the Miranda? Why would Starfleet have multiple destroyer classes in the 2360s if the Miranda existed and was filling that role? And now for the second issue, which we are covering second. The first issue, which we are covering second. I've messed myself up. And it is the believability of the world where the Miranda class has been in service for so much longer than it has been canonically. I like Starfleet to introduce generations of ships at semi-regular intervals, rather than just keep reusing the same design over and over until the end of days. Again, I admit that ships like the Miranda, Excelsior, and Oberth are in service for many years, but I've developed a complex series of rationales and circumstances to explain why this is, and a Miranda from the 2250s or earlier just kind of breaks this for me and makes Starfleet seem much less interesting. Now, I admit that my thoughts are essentially just opinions. In fact, I have no issues if you disagree and like the idea of an everlasting Miranda class which remains constantly in service regardless of year. In fact, why not have a Miranda class in the time of Enterprise? And that's really the issue with Headcanon. You can raise any issues you like, have any headcanon that you want, and someone will always have some alternative idea which conflicts with your idea. And this issue becomes all the more problematic when you realize that even Star Trek regularly conflicts with its own lore within the shows and movies. Does this mean that it's just generally a bad idea to have headcanon? No, but it does mean that you can tear apart virtually any theories or ideas you see listed on the internet. Just try to do it in a not mean-spirited way, or assume that your theory is superior, so obviously anyone with a different theory needs to correct their thinking to align with yours. Hopefully after watching this video, you're not thinking, hey, that guy's a hypocrite, that's what he's done. Hopefully watching the channel generally, you don't get that impression. I don't want to seem like the sort that says, I think this, so therefore it's law. But, list your own headcanon. When do you think the Miranda entered service? Comment below. Like, subscribe. Well, is this video a bit of a cop-out in the ending? Yeah. Does it cover what I wanted it to cover? Also, yeah. Will it lead to lots of engagement from you lot voicing opinions? Maybe? But we'll have to wait and see. Though if you're watching this video the day after, the month after, year, or decade, you'll be able to see what happened. I won't. And, presumably I'll still be alive. What I mean is, me from now won't be able to know how this video did. Hopefully, me in 10 years is still, alive and kicking and not a corpse somewhere underground or in an urn. But, we'll never see. Time and unforeseen events and all that crap. This conclusion got kind of dark, didn't it? Normally they're unhinged, but and there's the furnace. Yeah, here we are. Dark, depressing ending in a furnace that you may be able to hear. At least I'm warm right now.